Lewis, we're live. I think we heard. We all heard that, Lewis.
That's great. Or fake news.
You gotta put your Depends back on to muffle the sounds.
Oh, jeez. It's uncalled for.
God, our stream bitrate really does look incredible. Look at that. Looks amazing. Better than the 9 to 5.
Rainbow Bridge? What are you looking at here?
I'm looking at the stream. I think we're live. And we're live. Yeah, cool. Yeah, because I played around with all of our live stream settings. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it does look incredible. That looks unbelievable. I'm watching the stream on YouTube. We got the best looking tech podcast video quality of anyone that's out there. 100% guaranteed. Now all we need is viewers. We're waiting for them to stream in. We had some people waiting, but no one seems to be in the chat, so no idea what's going on there. But it says there's people watching. Oh, okay, there's just no one in the chat. All right, well, screw you guys.
God, I'm tired of pop-ups.
Hey, did you just say that? You don't love pop-ups?
No, I don't like pop-ups.
I love
Everything
them,
I go
man.
to do on the internet, something pops up and tries to get in between my mouse cursor and what I'm trying to click.
You know what I love is when you're on a website, you've been there for literally less than 2 seconds, and you're trying to go to an article that you just Googled, and boom, it's like right in your face. It's like, I just got here.
I know.
Do you want our newsletter? It's like, no, I just got here. I don't want your newsletter. You got to prove to me that it's worth it. You know what is worth it though, Lewis? This tweet. I'm about to drop it on you.
I'm sure it's going to be
That's the double boom.
well worth its
Okay.
tweet them.
All right. We got Carlos L here with a very enthusiastic, hey, we got Level Remix. We got, I don't know what that says. Fam Tattooer, Traditional Tattoos. Okay. Hey, y'all. Level Remix says, I just signed up for an Apple Card. Well, you'll get a few days use out of that. And have we missed Mrs. D? Oh, no. She's still coming. There's a joke in there, Summer, but I won't take that any farther. Let's see. Yeah, we got Mark T. Hello. A very unenthusiastic hello. You know what I'm thinking about?
Enthusiastic.
He just says hello. That's it. There's no punctuation or anything after it. It's just hello. That's it.
That's Apple style.
It's like he's bored
He's
to
just
be
getting
here.
in the mood.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what I'm thinking about doing, guys? This is a little tangent. We got to get moving, but I'm thinking about putting pictures of viewers' faces on this screen back here. What do you guys think about that idea?
I love it.
Yeah, all right. Let me know what you think, chat. You want your picture behind me on the screen? I have a 65-inch OLED that I never use back there. I use it for gaming. I just don't use it for the stream. And I was like, what would Andy Anatko, a.k.a. Wolverine's old uncle, do? He would use it for something, you know? Now, he'd have a picture of an animal or something, but I was like, where could I take this aside from that? All right. Should we go live? Should we go live? I mean, should we actually do the show?
Sure.
Bold idea. What a strategy.
I got to be walking these sweet buns out of the door in 63 minutes. You think we can do it? I don't know. Oh, shoot. Before we go live, I gotta add the God, you guys are seeing the sausage now. You said you wanted to see the sausage. I got the sausage for you right here. Hold on. Where is it? I gotta set up browser mode real fast. And I completely forgot to do that. Amateur move. Let's see here. There we go. How's that? You guys see my browser? Browsing around.
And our YouTube statistics show that when people rewatch these live streams, they use the chapter markers to skip right to the story, and I can't possibly imagine why.
I was actually wondering, like, maybe we should just cut off the entire front section of the show for the rebroadcast, because I'm like, does anyone actually watch this? The people that are here watching it live do. I know Christopher Gavin, he's here for the sausage. He wants to see it, but a lot of people, they don't want to see the sausage. They just want to hear about the Apple news.
Then you can use the chapter markers, or they can listen to the edited show.
Yeah, I agree. Good idea. And I wonder if people who listen to the audio version are enjoying the chapter markers now. They're probably useful. It only took us 13 years. All right, let's queue up Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh, my dear, did someone say sausage? Oh, no, Mrs. D. We don't want to hear about it. Mrs. D, I'm going to stop you right there. We don't want to hear about El Caney's sausage. Oh, that's too bad. Mrs. D, if you don't mind, let's just go ahead and get into the show. Don't take that joke any farther. We don't want to get booted. We have a lot of Apple news to talk about, and we don't want to hear about your Thanksgiving escapades with LK and the... Never mind. Let's just get this thing going. Look at poor Lewis. He can't stand it. He can't stand it anymore. We'll get this thing rolling in 3. Hello and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30 plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airphone Elijah. Joining me today, people say he's too tough on the Cultimac writing team, but this year he treated them to extra Thanksgiving slop instead of the normal compost bin leftovers that they get. What a treat! He's the managing editor of CultCast. Lewis Wallace is here.
I guarantee there was still some meat left on those bones.
Also with us, he really let loose over the holiday Thanksgiving weekend, having seconds of the cranberry sauce and multiple glasses of water. He's a writer at CultCast. Griffin Jones is here.
Good evening. And you bet that was water with ice as well.
Of course.
A real holiday treat.
Did I have...
I was gonna ask.
Oh, dude, I had it written as ice water, but I forgot to say that part. That would have made it even better. All right. Hey, happy... Thanksgiving weekend's over, I guess. But did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The one
How about
thing...
you?
It was magnificent, but I'll tell you what wasn't great was that terrible Black Friday that we had following. That was the worst Black Friday that I've seen in my adult lifetime. Just horrendous garbage. No deals anywhere.
That's odd. I feel like I bought more stuff over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday time span than I have in years.
Really? Did you get any...
Pent up demand.
Did you get anything good?
Got a charger from Momax. Pretty excited about that. I'm going to try and actually make my desk
Okay.
a little bit nicer. It's got 4 USB-C ports, 2 of those old ones with the, USB-A.
Nice.
And it charges your iPhone on the top. It was on sale, Black Friday sale.
From Momax. See, you've just kind of proved my point. It's like the only stuff that was on sale was stuff from Amazon that no one's ever heard of.
What?
like all
Momax?
the actual name brand stuff. Just nothing anywhere. I was completely bizarre. I kept waiting for the deals to come, and Black Friday is one of my favorite days of the entire year, and I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. Not a single good deal to be found. I was keeping an eye out for the Grifster because he needed a new hard drive. Nothing, just garbage, absolute garbage.
I'll
Very
give some
strange.
follow-up on that. The hard drives that I was looking at that were on sale from Adorama at $108, I complained about last week on the show that they raised the price to $136. I checked again on Black Friday. They lowered them again, but only to $110. So I still bought 4 of them begrudgingly.
Oh, you bought
even
4?
though it wasn't actually Yeah, I needed 4 of them.
Wow.
I'm
Was
gonna
it
put
Black
them all
Friday
in it.
price increase?
Yeah.
You paid $2 extra
Slight
dollars.
It's extra black.
Yeah.
They're going
That's
from red
great.
to black.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
What
terrible.
else was I to do?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still the best deal I found anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, that is sad.
There were great deals on Apple stuff. AirPods for what, 189 or something? AirPods Pro, excuse me.
I did see AirPods Pro I didn't see 189. I saw 199, which isn't bad. That reminds me. I was just going to mention this at the top of the show for those of you, because I know most people are still here. There was a great deal, and I think it's still going on. Unfortunately, this is only for U.S. people, but I just bought a 9th gen iPad for $220 from Best Buy, which is a crazy good deal. That's the lowest price I've seen by far. And if you're still interested, I think they're still available. You have to be using their app to see the price, and you have to be signed into your account, and you have to be like a Best Buy something member. It's free to sign up. I don't know if I signed up or if you're just automatically a member if you have an account, but so I bought the iPad for $220, and those are perfect for kids. I mean, it's the last gen iPad, basic iPad, but dude, for kids, it's perfect. Like it can run virtually any app. It doesn't have Apple Pencil support or anything, and yeah, it's still Lightning. But for a kid just to be watching movies and using kid apps, it's like the perfect thing. And the other thing I want to mention right off the top here, before we actually get into the real show, is we're back in business, baby. Lewis, I know you saw my tweet. If you go to x.com /Airfon, ERFON, you'll see my tweet about it. Target has a new Apple TV Plus trial that all the trials didn't work for me because I've used every trial that is out there, but this one actually does work. And if you want Apple TV Plus for 3 months, you can go and get it for free. There's no purchase required. And by the way, if you do the Best Buy purchase, you do get an extra 3 months of Apple TV Plus that way. So I'm set for the next 6 months. And I'm ready for, I don't know, Severance Season 2, whenever that happens.
When Napoleon gets there.
Is it not on there already?
No, it's still in theaters.
I thought they released them at the same time.
No, sir.
That's a first for Apple, isn't it?
I don't. Is it the first?
I think it
don't
is,
know
yeah.
about that. No, it's definitely not the first because they did the same thing with Killers of the Flower Moon, which is also still in theaters.
Okay.
And I can't
something I've
remember
never
if there
heard
was
of.
something else like that or not. But yeah, it's weird. If you go to the Apple TV app, you'll see like a gigantic ad for Napoleon, and it says "Go to the movie," and you go there, and it's like, "Watch the trailer in theaters now."
Have you guys seen
There are
the
a few
Napoleon
films
movie?
that they did like limited 1-day releases on, like just enough for them to be like Academy eligible. But I think this is the first time they're doing like a full national theater release for like weeks on end exclusively.
Okay. Wow. And
Yeah.
Apple TV is $9.99 a month now. Holy moly! I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's gone up a lot.
I forgot they raised it. So
They've been
the
jacking the
trial's
prices
even
of all
better.
these services.
I
The
know.
Apple One is now like almost $40 or something. Oh, the premium version. I think it's
I know.
38. Used to be 30, right?
Yeah. Too rich for
Oh,
my
money.
blood. Yeah, I think it's. If you didn't get a bunch of crap that you didn't want, sorry, pardon my French, it might be worth it. But I'm like, I don't care about Apple News. I don't care about Apple Arcade. There's just a lot of stuff in there. I'm not going to go into all of it again. You already all know. You've all heard my gripes before. I know some of you love it. That's great. I'm so happy that you love it. It's not a right fit for me. That's not even what we were going to be talking about here today.
Not even on the list.
It's not even on the list. Let me see here. Let me actually pull up my notes and see where we're starting. Oh, that's right. I want to thank Babbel for supporting this episode. Did that work? Oh, thank God. Babbel is the place that you can go to learn another language. With Babbel, you can learn everything you need to know to have real-world conversations, from vocabulary words to culture, and all it takes is 10 minutes a day. Babbel's personalized learning content, real-time feedback, tracking, and visualizations help keep you focused and motivated. And that's why 15 hours with Babbel is equal to 1 university semester, Lewis. It's like jacking into the Matrix, and then all of a sudden you know Kung Fu. It's kind of like that, except no metal rod in your skull. It's funny. There's a genre of YouTube video that I really love of white people going to China and knowing how to speak Chinese, because it's so rare for most Americans to know other languages, but especially the hard ones like Chinese or Japanese. And there's this girl who has a popular channel, and she'll go around China and then just start talking to people in Chinese and Mandarin, I guess. And they are absolutely stunned. And actually, she also knows Japanese. So she'll speak to people in both languages, depending on what language they know, and she's fluent in both. It is incredible. It kind of motivated me to restart my journey of learning German. I have Austrian heritage in my background, and I went to the Mutterland years ago, and I just felt like this unbelievable sense of connection to the country. And I was like, how cool would it be to actually get to speak to people now they say Austrian, but it's basically German. It's basically the same thing. And Babbel is just such a great and natural way to do that. And if you've always wanted to learn another language, here's what we have for you. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. To get you started right now, you can get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/cultcast. Get 55% off at babbel.com/cultcast. That's spelled BABBEL.com/cultcast. Rules and restrictions apply. And you'll be speaking like a Russian in no time, Lewis. Isn't that the one you were going for?
I don't know if that would be my first choice.
You kind of look like you could pass for a Russian,
Come on now.
You kind of
really?
got that Russian look, Real serious. Kind of mean.
Look at that Russian.
Just imagine Lewis in an Adidas tracksuit, and there's the rest of it right there.
There you go. Well, Christmas is near. I know what to get you now, Lewis. All right, let's dive right in. I don't even know where we're going first. Oh, I guess we're talking about the end of Apple Card, Lewis. It's the end, Lewis. That's
more
it.
fake news. This is yellow journalism. I couldn't believe it when I saw that subject line.
I think that this is a real, actual, viable possibility, Lewis. I mean,
Really?
well, if they lose Goldman Sachs, the entire venture is losing money hand over fist. And if they can't find another bank to work with, then what are they going to do? And how many banks are out there that can handle something like this?
I love how we dive right into the analysis before we even cover the news.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that first.
So Apple's reportedly ending its Apple Card partnership with Goldman Sachs. This is according to a story from the Wall Street Journal. It says Apple sent a proposal to the bank to exit from the agreement in the next 12 to 15 months. At the moment, it remains unclear if Apple has zeroed in on another banking partner for Apple Card. So that's a big question. Like, what happens if this partnership goes the way of the wind? Then who, if anyone, steps in? I love some of the details in this story.
I do
According
too.
to Wall Street Journal, it's problems started right after Apple Card's launch. This is from the story. Quote, Goldman and Apple's relationship got off to a rocky start. Apple ran ads saying that the card wasn't from a bank, irritating certain Goldman executives. Apple has pushed for nearly all applicants to get approved, pushing up loan losses for Goldman. I think earlier this year we had a report that they had lost like $1 billion or billions. It was a lot of money. And another problem that Goldman Sachs didn't like about this, they said that usually credit cards have staggered billing cycles, right? Like, so I get my bill on the 3rd of the month, you get yours on the 10th, Griffin gets his on the 20th.
Yeah, you can choose when you want to pay your bill. Like, that's what most credit cards do.
But not Apple Card. Apple Card generates its bills at the beginning of each month, and this reportedly causes Goldman Sachs customer service department to be flooded with calls at that time, and then the employees, sit around twiddling their thumbs the rest of the month.
Well, they're getting paid. Not doing nothing.
Yeah, thumb twiddling. Expert thumb twiddlers there. Apple reportedly might switch to American Express as its banking partner. However, the deal is yet to be finalized, and there's, American Express is a little bit worried about the program's loss rates and other aspects. Synchrony Financial also could take over the Apple Card. This is also from the Wall Street Journal report. But it's kind of weird when you think about it. Like, Apple Card doesn't charge late fees.
They don't?
No.
That's
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
No fees ever. I think that's a paraphrase, but it may actually be on their website. No fees ever. Yeah, no late fees. You just pay more interest, right? If you don't pay off your thing, you're paying interest. But just kind of like with the housing crisis a few years back, where it's like pushing everybody to get approved for a loan. Like, some people, can't be trusted with a credit card apparently, and Goldman Sachs is, taking it in the pants apparently. So
I like this line from the Wall Street Journal story as well. Some Goldman executives blame Apple for regulatory scrutiny that the bank has come over. Yeah, sure, it's Apple's fault. That's the reason you're being investigated, not the fact that you're Goldman freaking Sachs.
Well, didn't
taking
they
away
say
all
that,
those fees,
didn't they say that
mistreating
was,
people with no fees.
They're looking at their consumer practices? I don't know. And I mean, Apple Card is one of they're trying to make a push into, or they were, I guess now they're pulling back, trying to make a push into consumer services as opposed to just super gigantic business operations. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Apple Card. I really like that savings account with like the 4.15% interest rate, which, I mean, when that launched, that was amazing. Now now the interest rates have gone up. It's like,
Yeah, my bank that I'm using is giving me 5.05 APR.
I don't know if
5%.
I got to check. I don't know if Apple Card raised its interest rate.
I don't think so. I think they're still at 4.15.
So now I'm getting screwed on my interest rate.
I mean, you're losing. Yeah, you're losing like $70 a year. That's what moving your money around.
I love the way that Apple Card sends you a little thing every month. Like, here's your interest payment. You made $10 in interest last month. I don't know, man. The way that's integrated in the iPhone, it's just very, very easy to use. It seems way less clunky than any other credit card I have, and I got a million of them. And I mean, it's very easy to use, and I think the aspect of it where they're trying to like help people make better decisions about their money and shield people from bad decisions is it's kind of altruistic and weird, but very Apple.
Yeah. I mean, I love how easy it is to use as well, but I would say this card is aimed more at people who are not very good at managing their money and don't really know how credit cards work. Because if you're able to manage your cards more responsibly and you don't need a bunch of help from Apple, there are way better cards. It's not a great card, to be honest. I use it for groceries
Titanium!
now,
It's
and that's about it. The card itself is cool. But the benefits are absolute garbage. I mean, there are so many cards out there that will give you. I won't go on too much about this, although I could do a whole episode about this. There are cards that give you theft and loss protection in the first 120 days, right? So if someone steals your item, or if you break it, they just refund your money. There are cards that give you extended warranty, which is the most important one to me. Now, a lot of cards are doing away with this feature, but you can still find it. And that's another big one, right? I use extended warranty occasionally. Something breaks after the warranty expires, and the credit card company will pay you to fix it or just refund your money entirely. There's travel insurance. There's travel concierge. There's free car rental insurance. I mean, there's so many features that exist out there. And Apple Card gives you absolutely nothing. They give you 2% cash back if you use your phone to pay. And there's a lot of cards out there that do the same thing with the other benefits. And so it's just not a good card. Now, the app is beautiful.
They also
and it's
give
easy
you
to use.
3% back on Apple purchases.
Oh, my goodness, dude. Is that not stingy or what? I mean, give me a break. 3% back is absolute garbage. They should be giving you like 10% back on Apple service payments and maybe like 5% on hardware or something. Of course they don't. 3% is it's enough of a carrot to lure in people who don't really follow credit card rewards, I would say. But if you're someone that wants real rewards, look elsewhere. Like I said, I did start using Apple Card just to try it. It is cool. It is easy to use, but it's a garbage card, man. It's
now I feel bad
garbage.
about it.
Now, if you, I mean, the whole rewards thing pouring into your high interest savings account, like that is cool, and it's nice that you can add money to it. And I think Apple was one of the first out of the gate with a really high interest rate, which I think appealed to a lot of people. But as soon as they did that, other banks came out with even higher interest rates. So now it doesn't even have that in their favor. So if you want a high interest savings account, you can go to a number of different places. I'm not going to promote any unless they want to pay me. They got enough money. Although if you want to know what bank I use, I guess I would tell you if you reach out to me on X, I'll tell you which one I use. But so Apple Card,
So what do we think will actually happen 18 months from now? Do we think a year and a half from now, which is beyond the deadline that Goldman Sachs put in the story, do we think that the Apple Card will still be tied to Goldman Sachs, that it'll be tied to a different bank like Synchrony or Amex, or do we think that Apple will like spin up their own internal financial services division enough to replace it entirely?
I think they're working on their own, but they're not going to have it for a while. I'm not even sure they could figure it out entirely. Like we saw that story this week that they're giving up on building their own modem, and they've been trying to do that and take and
I
give up on
imagine that's a
Qualcomm
different
parts.
skill set, but I see your point.
I guess my only point being some businesses are easier to enter than others, right? Like you can build certain businesses if you get the expertise, and some are much more difficult. Building cars, becoming your own bank, that seems like it might be tough. So I don't know. I imagine they would want to do it because Tim Cook wants to own everything that's core to Apple's business, which seems to be a lot of things these days. But with that many customers and that much money on the line, I would be stunned if they didn't find some sucker, bank, to step in and take over for Goldman. What do you think, Louis?
I'm sure that's what they'll do. I mean, that's got to look good on your resume, right? Oh, we're Apple's bank of choice. I mean, that's something like what is it called? Synchrony, which,
yeah.
Have you heard of Synchrony? I mean,
I have heard of Synchrony,
at some point, but I don't. It like if you asked me to name it, I wouldn't have been able to. And that could actually raise their profile in the industry, right? I mean, I wonder if it would make them look, oh yeah, look at these chumps that took over this money loser. I mean, it could be that, I suppose. But
well, that's the other reason why I'm like, is another bank going to get involved here? We don't need to keep going on and on about this, but I'm like, they're losing so much money. I mean, they're losing billions of dollars. Who's going to be excited to step in and take over for Goldman Sachs, one of the preeminent banks in the entire world. Like, if they can't figure it out, right? Who's going to come in and be able to make it profitable? And you know TC is just twisting those nips to get the absolute best deal possible. He's turning those nips purple.
That sounds.
I will say that every subsequent bank that Apple approaches will be in a better and better negotiating position, because that'll be like one less option for Apple, and that'll like when you're in any sort of negotiation, you always want to be the person who needs the other person more than they need you. And like, Apple, if they lose Goldman Sachs and they turn to Amex and they say no, the next person Apple asks is going to have a lot of power in that conversation.
Yeah, potentially. And maybe we heard that Amex might be taking over. Anyway, so are we going to lose the Apple Card? Probably not. But could it happen? I think there's a chance. If it does happen, you know what? You might even be better off. There's a lot of cards out there that are better. In my humble opinion. All right, let's move on, because I got to be walking out the door in 40 minutes. Let's see here. We're going to talk about iOS 17.2 features next. Hold on a sec. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just got a notification that our stream stopped. Are we still going live? No, I think we're live. It looks like there was just a little bit of a blip. This is why I got to keep YouTube Studio. Hey, guys, let me know in the chat if we're still live. We're live. Okay, great. This is why I should keep the YouTube stream chat open. It did disconnect for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, we paused for a second. All right. We're still going. That's good. All right. So let's talk about, we're not going to talk about everything that's new in iOS 17.2, because a lot of this stuff is actually really boring and you guys won't really care about it. Collaborative Apple Music playlists, looks like it was removed. Apple Care settings, like, who cares, right? But the thing that was interesting is you can now change the default notification sound. Under Sound and Haptics, there's a new default alerts section that allows you to choose the sound you use for all incoming notifications, aside from texts, mail alerts, and calendar alerts, which already had customization options. So now you can customize, I think, all the default sounds, which is really cool. And then there was one more feature I wanted to touch on here. Let me scroll down to it. So if you have the newer iPhone 15 Pro, you know that you can record, or maybe you don't know this, you can record directly to an external device, but in iOS 17.2, they included a new pop-up message that lets you know that the external recording is not working because of a USB-C cable that's too slow. Now, this may seem like a lame feature, but we were having a problem a while back with our show audio becoming out of sync, and Griffin and I were trying to figure out like what was going on, and I figured out that my memory card was too slow, and I was telling Griffin, I'm like, dude, they need to give you a warning that the memory card that you're using in your device is not fast enough, and otherwise there's no way you would know. And so I switched the memory card, the problem is fixed. And this is the same type of problem, right? If you're having an issue with a recording and it's choppy or it's disconnecting or something, there would be no way that you would know that your USB-C cable is too slow. And of course, no USB-C cables, except for the ones from Elgato that you can get with the all-new teleprompter that they're releasing, has the speed specs labeled on the USB-C cable. So you'd have to be a medium or the great Carsoni to know like what the speeds of the USB-C cable are. So this is actually a really useful feature. Coming to iOS 17.2 when it finally releases. We're in beta 4, so I imagine it's going to get released sometime soon. I don't like running betas of new OSs, but I love running betas of current OSs because you're actually ahead of the curve as far as improvements and stuff go, and everything seems to be more stable than it would be otherwise, but not the other way around when you use the a beta of a new OS. Then it's just absolute trash and you're constantly having problems, but you can make a lot of great YouTube videos about upcoming features and that type of thing. Okay, let's see here. Where are we? I don't know. Oh, you want to talk about ARM? Okay. Before we do that, Griffin's going to talk about his arms. I don't know. Maybe he's been lifting weights. That doesn't look like a sleeveless shirt, so I'm expecting him to rip that off at some point during the show, but we'll have to find out. I do want to say a couple of quick things. Do we have a giveaway this week, Lewis? I didn't see one.
Yeah, there's no giveaway squared away just yet. Sorry about that.
Goodness. All right. Well, this isn't
There'll
a
be
giveaway,
one soon.
but it practically is because it's such a great value. This is where I get to show CultCloth to you. I can't believe we're still getting orders because we've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of these, but we still get orders.
Dirty world.
And it's a dirty world out there, especially in El Caney's world. He's my number one customer. And if you haven't picked yourself up some CultCloth already, I would just want to put it out there. You don't have to, but it does support me. It supports the show. And there really is nothing better out there to keep your gadgets absolutely sparkling clean. You will be surprised every time you use them. I still am. They work so well. And you can use them on all of your equipment, your lenses, your cameras. I just did a deep clean on one of my cameras, and the thing is sparkling now. And with CultCloth Duo, the extra fibers, they reach down between the cracks and crevices of all the knobs and pulled out all the dirt. I mean, you could never do that with a normal microfiber cloth. They're not built to do that. And of course, you can keep your iPhone and your iPad sparkling clean. There's nothing that works better for cleaning your keyboards, your television. I've had people tell me they use these on their car and they work well for detailing. I mean, people are coming up with all sorts of uses. And right now, if you have an order that's $20 plus, you will get 2 free carry cloths with code CultCast at checkout at cultcloth.co. I want to apologize. I know some orders are arriving late. We've been having email problems with our support email, which is something that I have to figure out. Like, we seem to be unable to email people with Gmail addresses all of a sudden. So people are asking like where their orders are, and we literally can't reply to you. It's very weird, and I don't know why. So I have to solve that problem. That's been one of our biggest problems is communication issues. But other than that, products is absolutely great. So cultcloth.co and use code CultCast at checkouts. Are we going to have a giveaway coming back next week here, Lewis?
Oh, sure.
Okay. The people want their free stuff, Lewis.
I'm sure. We just need to get it together this week. It's the holidays. And
all right. They're not just here for the witty banter and the good-looking host, Lewis. They want free stuff.
I mean, if you're listening live right now, last week's giveaway, the Zugu case, it's still live for like another 12 hours or something.
Oh, well, shoot. Why didn't we at least mention that? Okay.
All right, well, let's mention it. Go to the homepage right now.
Right
now, if you're listening live, scroll down to Zugu case giveaway. And
there it is.
I think the headline says last chance, and that's true. It's going to end, what does it say, 12 hours, 10 hours from now? I almost feel bad mentioning it because people are listening to the podcast.
11 hours
as a
left.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Man, if you're listening to it as a podcast, you better be listening to the podcast like immediately and racing to the website.
I mean, they have until. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. But
it's going to be 11 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, we're giving away 5 Zugu iPad cases. These are great cases, very protective, as we mentioned before. Great guarantee. If you drop the thing while it's in a case, they'll cover your Apple Care repairs. I've never heard of something like that. If you hear this, if you hear it immediately and race to the website, you can probably get it. If you're listening to 2-3 hours later, I'm sorry.
It's too bad. It's too bad.
You missed out.
There's nothing we can do for you, but we're here to help the people who are here live. Those are the people we care about.
As a wise man once say, I can't do nothing for you, man.
I don't know who that wise man is. Do you care to tell me? Is that from a movie?
Flavor Flav, man.
Wow. I didn't get a Flavor Flav reference, but you did. I'm ashamed of myself. I hang my head in dishonor. Okay, cool. Well, I saw these pop up on Amazon, the Zugu cases, and they're super popular. I had no idea. And very highly rated. So
yeah, they are.
There's another Amazon success case for you. Okay, Griffin, I'll send it to you. Let's talk about your arms, I guess.
Sure, and I'm going to do this segment while lifting a 3-pound weight with my arms.
And it's pink. Wonderful.
Tiny little hand.
Of course. Okay. ARM isn't happy about how little Apple pays for its chip tech. This is who wrote this up? Dave? I think Dave wrote this up.
It's Ed.
Oh, Ed, my mistake. I apologize. I don't have that in the show notes. I probably should because I like to mention that.
Yeah.
All Apple computers run on chips based on technology licensed from ARM. And it turns out the license fee is surprisingly low, pennies per device. Apple designs its own processors, but those designs are based on ones created by ARM. That's close to the truth, but I think I would disagree with that. So the ARM is the instruction set, and Apple licenses the instruction set, but they design the chips entirely themselves. The iPhone maker needs to license the ARM architecture to keep making the chips that go into so many products, whatever. We already know that. The licensing fee is less than 30 cents per device, according to the information.
That does seem low.
That's supposedly under what any other company pays to use ARM's intellectual property.
Wow.
ARM reportedly tried to increase the rate, but with no success. And the two companies recently signed an agreement that puts ARM-based processors in iPhone, Mac, and other Apple computers beyond 2040, which could mean that low rate is locked in for
So wait a second.
decades
Tim
to
Cook
come.
does it again.
So, well, they're going up against TC. They should have known that the nips were going to get pinched. But what is this? This is just them complaining. I mean, they negotiated, at least according to the information, they negotiated a deal with Apple until 2040, and now they're complaining that the rate's too low? Dude, you're the one that negotiated the deal. Time to fire your negotiator. What are we supposed to do about it? Nothing. There's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah. We agreed to pay it, and now we're upset. That's funny. So
Yeah.
wasn't there something about, I didn't realize this, but in, I think editing that story or reading some background, or like Apple was involved in the founding of ARM or something like that? Way back when?
So Apple founded the company basically as a joint partnership in the 90s for developing, of all things, the Apple Newton. The Apple Newton is one of the first consumer devices to use what was then called the strong ARM processor. And like the instruction set that it uses, that goes back farther than that. There was an earlier British computer called the Acorn that was one of the first ARM-based computers of all consumer history. But Apple ended up selling their stake in ARM for $100 million or something like that in the late 90s when they were just strapped for cash. And, because they were still using PowerPC machines at the time for all their Macs and most of their products, and they didn't really need that investment in it then. But yeah, apparently Apple is still once again a partial owner of the ARM holding company, although they apparently still need to negotiate separately from that. There's another story that just broke earlier today that Apple is doubling down again, in that they signed a deal with one of their manufacturers to open a new facility where they'll be like packaging the Apple Silicon chips in the United States, right next door to TSMC's new plant that they're opening in Arizona. So they're going all in on Apple Silicon for the long haul.
You're going all in on that buy pump there. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm committing to the bit.
You better balance out, man. You better switch arms because,
I should, yeah.
Y'all lopsided.
So wait, sorry, did you say they're going to be moving a packaging facility here to the U.S.?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
In Arizona.
God, I love seeing all these like high-tech, manufacturing jobs come back to the U.S. It really...
And Intel is opening a plant an hour away from me in Columbus, too.
I heard that. When is that going to open up?
Oh, I don't know, a few years, but it's driving up the real estate prices in that
Already.
whole area inside the 270 loop.
Wow. I wonder how much prices have raised already, and they're still years away from actually opening the plant. That's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Well, somehow you made that ARM story interesting, and I want to applaud you for knowing any of that information about ARM, because you're probably the only person that I've met, and maybe on Earth, who knows all that information. How do you know anything about ARM? I have no idea.
I'm a computer scientist, allegedly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Did you guys know that? That's our own D. Griffin Jones. He is.
I
a
could go
computer
even more
scientist.
in the weeds and talk about the RISC instruction set, but I feel like that would be beyond the interest of this show.
You might be right about that. But did you learn a lot of the ARM stuff in your CS degree? Is that where you gained this information? Or are you just interested in it as
I had
well?
one class that talked about instruction sets.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say
I
that's
don't
like
remember much else about that class. The professor died midway through a semester.
Midway
which
through
was
the
kind of
book?
Interesting. Yeah.
It was so crazy. He was there reading about instruction sets, and he literally just died. Well, what a way to go. Bored himself to death. Okay, well, we're staying with Griffin now. I don't even know what this is, Griffin. Why iPhone's NameDrop feature is not a security risk. But this is another one of those high-tech topics. So it's good that we have you here. And you'll have to tell us, like, was this news this week or something? Like, what was this?
Yeah, this is a big story. Parents are mistakenly being warned that they need to quickly deactivate iOS 17's NameDrop feature on their children's iPhones. The warnings claim that it's causing the devices to broadcast their contact information to anyone nearby. This simply isn't true. That's how the story starts. I've also been asked about this by like random friends and people I know about this too. It's like Facebook pages for like local police departments are warning about this. Like there are viral TikToks all about this. Apparently, that I'm being told.
I haven't seen one, and I use TikTok more than I should.
Nevertheless, warnings are going out that the new AirDrop feature called NameDrop in iOS 17 causes an iPhone to send contact info to any other iPhone that's brought close by. This is incorrect. To use NameDrop, you have to hold both phones next to each other, like notch to notch or dynamic island to dynamic island, and then you get to choose which information you share. You know, that's actually kind of the whole point. It's not just aimlessly broadcasting who you are and your home address and your phone number and email it to everybody else. Like the whole point of the feature is that you get to selectively choose who you share information with, and what it's a sad kind of irony that it's being treated this way and this information is spreading. So it just goes to show. Don't believe the fear-mongering garbage that you see on Facebook and TikTok, and don't trust your police. I yield my time.
I like TikTok, and it's cool that they have basically democratized the ability to make content, and people who would never have made content on YouTube or anything are now making content on TikTok. But, dude, it is a bastion. It is a hellscape of absolutely wrong information, you know, because people just hear something and they don't do any actual verification to tell if it's true, and they just report on it, especially if it gets clicks. We are entering a bizarre age. I mean, you pair this along with what AI can do now. I saw a video on TikTok of Warren Buffett talking about how he's giving away Bitcoin for free. Obviously, it is an AI video, AI generated video, but dude, you could not tell. It looked perfect. His voice sounded exactly the way Warren Buffett's voice sounds. And of course, guys like us, we see it. We know who Warren Buffett is. We're like, dude, he's not giving away free Bitcoin, right? Obviously, he's not.
You're saying that Berkshire Hathaway isn't giving away Ethereum and Dogecoin?
Now, if he were giving away Doge, I might be on board for that. But Bitcoin, that's going nowhere. Doge is going to go to the moon eventually. It's not doing too well right now. But all we need is for Elon to start talking about it again. Boom, we're going straight to the moon. But you mix that generative AI video and image stuff with TikTok, with X, we're in for a wild ride, man, especially in this political season that's coming up, because you will not be able to believe anything that you see. If you thought it was bad before, I mean, I don't think we've seen anything yet. And I saw a video with Elon Musk. He was talking with who was he talking with? He might have been talking with Tucker Carlson. He was talking with some news person, and they were talking about AI. And he was saying, and they were asking him, "You keep talking about why AI is dangerous. Like, what do you mean specifically?" And he was talking about misinformation. He was saying its ability to create misinformation is beyond anything that we've ever seen in our realm before. My word, not his. And it's going to be able to do things that are going to trick people, and they're not going to be able to know that they're not real. And especially with even just regular people using ChatGPT or whatever, a lot of people don't realize that AI creates what they call hallucinations. So it will give you information that seems convincing, but if the generative AI doesn't know the answer to something, it will just make one up. And that information will seem like it's real, but it's actually not real. And you don't know how much of that information is accurate or not. And people will just roll with it because it gives them an answer, but the answer may not be right, but it seems right, so they just roll with it. And so there's going to be misinformation from that perspective as well. Like they're not even doing it intentionally. They just get bad information and they start telling people that bad information, and bad information spreads fast, right? What do they say? The lie has moved halfway across the world before the truth has its boots on. Right, Lewis?
I've heard something like that. Yes.
Are you impressed that I knew that?
Very, very impressed.
ChatGPT gave me that one. I wasn't sure
Yeah,
if it was
sure.
real. Anything else on NameDrop? It seems like the moral of the story is it's actually safe and you're not giving away any information
and you should actually
at all.
learn how to use it because it's a really awesome feature. Like when I was at WWDC a few years ago, I met a few people who wanted to exchange my information, and I was like,
Yep.
well, I could just airdrop my contact to you, but like I don't want you don't need to know my home address. You don't need to know every email address I have. Learn how to use NameDrop because you bump two phones together and then you can pick exactly what you want to give and all that. It's actually a pretty great feature.
Now look, I have to admit ignorance. I have not even touched NameDrop yet. If I came up to you and put my phone close to your phone, I'm sure that maybe I could initiate some kind of transfer of contact information, but you'd have to approve it. So
yeah,
it couldn't even happen inadvertently, right? Like you'd have to specifically approve it on your phone.
Yes,
it's
that's
like
true.
Bump. Do you remember Bump? No.
Yeah, the Samsung feature that Apple made fun of.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a
like,
Samsung feature. Wasn't it an app that existed ages ago where you would touch two phones together and you could transfer like your contact card?
That sounds
this was like
vaguely familiar.
This was like a real thing, but it's like 13 years old, maybe older. Very popular. South by Southwest bros. All right, I think we're almost done. We
That's
are.
Good,
I can't believe
we're
it.
almost out of time.
We're almost out of time, and I won't even have to go running out of here. But we do have one more story that I thought you guys might be interested in, but maybe not, considering it's about the Vision Pro. I don't know if Vision Pro is going to be a thing. I really don't know. We keep talking about it, and every time we do, I watch our numbers crater because no one seems to actually care about the Vision Pro. But I'm going to tell you about it because it is news this week. And according to a new report from DigiTimes, we have not one, not two, not three, but 4 different new Vision Pro headsets in development. I guess 4 total. That might include the high-end one, but I don't think so. Oh, it is. Okay, so those 4 models include a direct successor to the first generation model and a more affordable model. So they're working on a bunch of more affordable models of the Vision Pro. I don't know what more affordable means. I mean, more affordable could be $1,500 or $2,000 instead of $3,400. The bill of materials for the more affordable headset will reportedly be half that of the first generation Vision Pro to enable a significantly reduced retail price. Samples of this device are apparently set to begin production for the second half of 2024, with launch following in the second half of 2025 at the earliest. According to a separate report from Interface News, Apple has begun to communicate with its supply chain about the second and third generation Vision Pro products. There you go. Seeking to reduce costs to bring down prices, yada, yada. In December, with an initial batch of 400,000 units, apparently Apple has sales targets of 1 million units for 2024. I take it back to the original question. How much would it have to be for you guys to buy a Vision Pro? What is the, I'm going to just buy this sight unseen, I'll plurk down the money, get one, try it out. Lewis, what's it got to be?
Oh my God. I mean, in reality, if I didn't work for Cult of Mac, how much would it have to? It would probably have to be like $0 because I have almost zero interest in strapping something onto my head.
Okay.
Working for Cult of Mac, I really want to know what it is so I can speak about it. So I might get one at $34.99. I mean, if I was a normal person who didn't read about this stuff and write about this stuff every day, I think perhaps like $9.99 might be a price that would be palatable. I mean, you're talking about a computer, right? Supposedly it's going to be useful, but I don't know how it's actually going to be useful for productivity. I keep hearing people talk about it. I cannot for the life of me understand how it's useful for productivity the way that a Mac is. So I don't know, man. It's such a bizarre concept. I mean, you see people, it's got a M2 chip, I think, or M1, M2, whatever, an Apple Silicon chip, very powerful chip that's powerful enough for a laptop. It's got this supposedly gorgeous looking screen that it looks as good as a really expensive studio display, right? So, all these parts, well, it's actually a bargain. I mean, it's still an awfully big price tag for something that seems of limited use.
Yeah, I actually see the utility as a productivity device.
How?
But beyond that, I don't really think it'd be something that I would be useful. I've used this example before. Clear evidence that TC pays attention on a weekly basis, probably takes notes, because it manifested itself. And that is the ability to have like multiple screens open, to be interacting with these screens. Like that would be really cool to have a virtual environment where you could have different screens open and be working in different screens, and like maybe even like grabbing the screens and bringing them in front of you and resizing them and stuff, and then interacting and then moving them out of the way. Like that would be cool. But watching movies in it, not so sure I'm into that. I have a nice, beautiful OLED, which, by the way, this is a complete tangent. I bought a really nice Sony QD OLED last year, and I talked about it on the show. It's got one of the best pictures I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, it looks incredible. If you put the right signal in there, and the way that Sony does motion is really beautiful and smooth. Anyway, I've been having this issue where when I turn it on, it won't turn on. And then it has like this red blinking light. And then it's running Android TV, which is actually one of the things I don't like about the TV because it's absolute garbage. And it reboots Android TV, and then I have to like try to turn it on 2 or 3 more times. I've been having this problem for months and months and months. So finally I contact Sony, and they have me troubleshoot a few things. And it doesn't really work. I continue having the same problem, so I contact them again. I'm like, you guys got to come out here and repair this thing. Like, the warranty's almost expired. Like, you're going to have to come out and fix it. And they just contacted me, and they said, no, don't worry about it. We're going to send you the brand new version of the TV,
Nice.
which just came out this year. And they're going to come, bring that TV to me, and then take the old one back. And I'm like, what are they going to do with the old one? I thought they would maybe let me keep it, but I guess not. Which, I mean, it still works. I mean, I would totally use it as like a secondary TV or something, but they're going to give me a brand new A95L Sony television instead of the A95K that I have. Isn't that interesting? I would have guessed they would want to fix it, but they said they're having supply chain problems and they don't have one to give me and they can't fix it. So they're going to give me a brand new TV. And I was thinking that kind of, I think, is what's going on with this terrible Black Friday that we just had. I just feel like there's still supply chain problems. Prices are still super high. And so people just are not able to lower their prices, or they don't have enough of something to sell at a very low price, or I don't know what's going on, man. But to take it full circle, that was a terrible Black Friday. I mean, I just can't get over it. I cannot get over it.
A tangent built on a tangent.
It's a retangent. Doesn't that mean there's a glitch in the Matrix? They're changing something.
Jeez. So back to the Vision Pro, which nobody wants to talk about.
Okay, fine.
You were saying you see this as great for productivity, right? So like, and then moving screens around like this, you're like Tom Cruise in Minority Report, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did Tom Cruise interact with that computer? By voice. When was the last time you had an efficient, conversation or anything that worked properly using, she who now shall not be named?
Ye of little faith.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that.
Did you not hear the story we talked about where TC is going to be adding machine learning to Siri? That's going to fix all the problems, man. It's going to be
great.
It's going to be
I will
10
also say
GPT.
that using voice controls in a movie just makes for a better movie. The Vision Pro is controlled by like eye movements and like pinching your fingers together, which would just look confusing on screen. Just look like someone's having a seizure if you saw that on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I've in the early reports are that those hand gestures and things aren't all that effective. They're not that easy to use. They don't work all that well.
How dare
so
you.
okay, you've got this. I mean, I guess you could probably connect a Bluetooth keyboard, right? But then okay, you got this thing on your head and you got your hands on your keyboard, right? I mean, why put the thing on your head? Why not just use a screen? I don't get it, man. Maybe they'll come up with like a laser a laser keyboard that the thing shoots out the bottom.
Oh, I would hate that. I want a tactile experience when I use a keyboard. I wouldn't mind using it with a mouse and a keyboard, to be honest with you. I think that they're trying to create the product in a way where you can just kick back on your couch and use it, which that's cool. But for productivity, I would want a keyboard. I would want a mouse. It would also be cool if you could move your hands into the picture. Let me go back to Earth view. Move your hands in the picture. Like, I don't know if you can like resize windows and like move them out of the way. That would be really cool if you could do that. I think I would actually use that just to reposition the windows in and out of space. But then for input, I would not want to do voice. I feel like voice is one of those things that, I don't know, it sounds good, but it doesn't actually work that well because you have to know exactly what you want and say it in one complete sentence without making a mistake for it to actually work. And at least at the state that we're in now, it's too literal when you use any of these assistants. Like if you flub your word or you don't say exactly what you mean, like it's not able to interpret what you mean. And then you have to like try to correct it. And I just feel like it's more effort than just typing something and doing it that way.
You talked about resizing and moving windows. That is something that Apple has talked about. It sort of resembles Stage Manager in that every window has like the little white bar underneath that you can like look at with your eyes and then pinch and then use to move around. And they also have like the little corner thing on the bottom right corner of each window. You look at that and then it'll like resize and like, resize about the center of the window, and you can use that to move it around. And when you move a window around, it's the Vision Pro internally just sort of like pins it to like the space that you're in. So if you move this window over the coffee table and walk around the room, it'll still be there floating over your coffee table as if it were a physical object.
That's pretty cool. I think my price would be $11.99. $11.99, I'd be like, all right, I'll try it. I'm not going to pay any more than that. And the only reason I would go so high is because I feel like $4.99, which is what Level Remix in the chat is saying, I think is going to be too much of a sacrifice in product quality to make me actually want to own it. Like, I would be willing to spend more and get it to be a little bit nicer and have a better screen and have some of the bells and whistles that the original Vision Pro had. But at $4.99, it's going to be the Meta Quest. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I tried the Oculus Quest, and it's cool, but it's nothing that I would care to own. So I would definitely want it to maintain a premium visual experience like it has now. I don't know if I need to have the floating eyes in the front and all that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like
that was supposedly one of the things that they're talking about eliminating for the the second gen cheaper version, right? And I was like, wow, that actually sounds like something you might pay more for. I don't want that creepy thing on my face.
the creepy ghost eyes in the front.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I would need that either. And I feel like you could accomplish that same level of UX without having the eyeballs. You could just have like it be a color to let people know that you're engaged in something on the inside. And then if you want to see my eyes, I'm going to have to like lift it up or something. Like there's other ways I could do that and not have to spend $34.99 plus tax. All right, look.
That's a big ask.
That's a big ask. But apparently you're thinking about doing it, aren't you?
2-week return policy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you're thinking about doing it for 2 weeks.
I'm thinking, although, they're I mean, if you heard anything about it, right? They plan to make people like come into the store and, you got to get fitted and so it's not going to be as, as simple as just going, hey, I want to return this. I mean, I suppose it will be as simple, but you'll be like more, you'll feel more like you really wasted somebody's time, if you know what I mean, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, I know.
I went through this personal session and I got fitted with these glasses, because I'm blind without them. And then, you know what? This didn't work out. I really just wanted to try it anyway. So maybe.
Oh, there's going to be a ton of people that do that too.
Yeah. I'm thinking the open box deals might be great.
You mean like the refurbished deals?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they actually ever show up.
Right.
You get 10% off. All right. Look, we're officially out of steam, I think. Anything else?
Are you?
I mean, I could do another hour, but it's not going to be
about Black Friday again.
It's not going to be about Apple topics because we got nothing left on that. We could talk about regular tech. We could talk about shows and movies, but no, I think that's it. You hear that? Do you hear that, Lewis?
I do hear something.
For you, the bell tolls. All right, all. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I got to be leaving in 7 minutes anyway, and I prefer not to be running when I do it. So that's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. But you know what? The fun doesn't stop. Me and Lewis are both on the new X, duking it out. I'm at Irfan, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. And if you just Google D. Griffin Jones, all sorts of amazing social media platforms that you didn't even know existed will show up in the results. And he'll be there by himself, waiting for your engagement. Are you getting annoyed at that yet? Look at his face. He's making Mrs. D face. That's like when I got you on that. That's what he's doing right now. All right, everyone. This has been the CultCast.
Seething with rage.
The best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening and for hanging out live. We will see you guys next time. Oh, man. Got this new control panel. It's like twice as big as my old control panel. And for the first time in my life, I feel like a real man, Lewis.
What new buttons do you have?
I'm in control. Power is mine. I don't think it made anything operate more smoothly, but with a little practice, maybe I will.
That Newton sound effect again.
I gotta put that on there. Make it easier to reach. All right, everyone. I'm stopping the stream. Have a good weekend.